Welcome to the Relationship Cycle with Jorge and Nelsa, where we talk about dating to divorce and everything in between.
We're back with another great episode. Um, it's been an exciting, this is our sixth episode. So it's been exciting time working together, and we've had some really neat guests on. So it's just the two of us today. But with, this time of the year and just all through the year, I think one of the things that you and I have talked about is um, when to meet the family and especially holidates. So we decided to name this show Holidates based on when's it a good time to meet somebody, and should you take them around during the holidays, or should you wait? Is that too much pressure? What do you think?
Oof. Man, that can be a tricky situation because there's been times where I've met somebody within the first or second date, and I feel comfortable letting them know that, hey, I'm out here with my friends at this brewery, or hey, I'm out here watching a game at this bar with my friends, and if you want to come hang out, you're more than welcome to.
Hmm.
Um, I think with friends, I'm a little bit more flexible as far as that goes. However, with family, I am very, very leery and very careful. That's kind of
Right.
my stance on that. But at the end of the day, there's more than one way to skin a cat when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think family is sort of a sacred space. So, um, and I don't want to set up expectations. I have children, so I don't want, and they're not small children. They're, my youngest is 15, but still, I don't want them to have unreasonable expectations, the person or my children. So I do like to, if for some reason, and it has happened that people have met sooner than I had planned, just sometimes timing is off or whatever.
Yeah,
Uh,
listen.
yeah,
Sometimes it's
life
on
happens.
accident. So,
Yeah,
there's been
exactly.
check this out. There's been times where I've been on a date and I've run into my friends.
Right. Exactly. It's like, I didn't mean for that to happen, but sorry. But you don't want to feel like I can't introduce people. I don't want to feel like I'm hiding someone. But at the same time, I don't want anybody to feel, so much pressure that like I set them up.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what
to
I
me,
mean?
I think to me it's a fluid situation, and you kind of got to play it by ear and kind of
Hmm.
feel it out. If that person's comfortable and you feel comfortable, and and their personality seems one that they're okay with meeting people, and they don't feel threatened or don't feel awkward by it, then
Right.
it happens, because some people aren't very social or outgoing, so that also plays a factor. They may,
Right.
on their side, they may be like, whoa, I'm not ready to do all that.
Exactly. I go, I don't want to be your family. That
Right. And
means
plus,
for some people
I
that
think
does mean a lot.
in society, I think a lot of people from all walks of life kind of have that in mind, that when you
Hmm.
bring a certain someone close to your family, then you expect that that person is going to be solid, and you think that that person is somebody
Hmm.
that may be around or part of your circle, whether it be on a romantic level or friendship level or business level or whatever.
Whatever, right? It's going to be, kind of long standing with some permanence if family gets involved. But you know, um, things have changed though. We're also dating online now, so you might have to tell your family, look, this may or may not last. Don't get your hopes up. Everybody just
Oh my God. What's funny? I've heard people joke around like that, where they say, "Hey, I don't know yet, to
right.
be determined,
Right.
TBD."
I just got their last name last week. People, hold your horses. It's just a little.
Yeah,
I needed a date for this occasion. Stop it.
yeah. I mean, to me, I think everybody kind of has to find their balance with that,
Hmm.
because it's going to depend on you. It's going to depend on your friends and family. It's going to depend on how the other person feels. Like, there's been times where I've been on a date and it was maybe the first or second date, and the vibe was good and it felt good.
Mm-hmm.
And my friends were hitting me up and they were like, "Hey, we're over here, in Noda, or we're here, in Uptown. Come join us." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm on a date." And they're like, "Well, bring her." So,
Right.
and it was completely out of the blue and,
Yeah,
off the cusp. So, it just depends.
exactly. It's like who you are and who they are always matters. And I think communication is another thing that we always emphasize on our show. I think it really is the foundation for any relationship, whatever it is. But I think that's one of the things that you need to talk to people in those early getting to know you stages about what family expectations. Family is a big deal. I expect the people I am going to be around for a good deal of time. If it's going to be somebody with any kind of permanence, then I want them to know my family and I want them to have a connection with me, with my family, because that's going to be normal. Like, I don't want somebody who is very anti family and doesn't have good family relationships. And I think that's something you really need to take into account, because if you're somebody who spends a lot of time with your family, and you and I, Poppy, are both really family oriented, you're always posting
Absolutely. Absolutely.
about your mom and everything, and I'm the same way. And so it's very awkward if you get into a relationship with somebody and you want to spend time with your family and they don't, or you want to get to know their family and they don't have a lot of dealings with their family. That can really put a strain on a relationship right at the beginning and can cause a lot of confusion. So I think that's something people really need to make sure, that you don't get a deal breaker that you're unaware of in the form of your family relationships, because that can easily, you can find that out easily. Like when you come to my house, you hear about my mother, you see my mother, you see pictures of my family everywhere. You get the feeling that I'm a family person. And then you go to some people's homes and, like, do you have a family? Like,
Yeah. So yeah, listen, yeah, that absolutely plays a factor. And I don't care um what people say. When you seriously date someone or marry someone, their family is going to be part of the equation. Like,
right.
they're
Like,
going
you
to be
never
part of the equation.
say.
And I don't know to what depths, because obviously there's a lot of factors with that.
Mhm.
But I always tell this. So, I have female friends, and sometimes they'll, tell me scenarios of men that they're considering or possibly dating or whatnot.
Mhm.
And one of my cues, right? Like, if a man is seriously considering you for dating purposes,
Mhm.
then he likely will introduce you to the family, if that's the case.
Okay.
Now, if he does not have any intentions of ever bringing you to his family, then it's not that serious.
Okay, Poppy. So I've been on dates. Had some early dates in my early days of Tinder dating. I'll be honest. And met some men that I never got introduced to any family uh before, and I didn't know this. So how many dates in? Like, how much time do you think is appropriate before you feel like you're being put into a not serious pile?
So my thing would be this, and this is just Jorge's approach only.
Hmm.
If I met a girl, right, and we're hitting it off, and things are progressing well.
Hmm.
um if we were to reach the exclusivity stage, then if we are progressing well and we're dating exclusive, I would feel comfortable to bring her to a family function if we're both on the same page with that. And, assuming that she's comfortable with that as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm.
Um, and of course, a girlfriend, obviously.
But you
But
feel got to be dating exclusively before that
yeah, I
would happen.
think I think dating exclusively would be my approach, because if
Hmm.
I'm not dating her exclusively, then that's that a lot could change in the blink of an eye with situations like that.
One family calling her the wrong name.
Yeah. Oh God.
It happened
Oh
to
my
some of my male relatives before they, bring one around, bring another one
Yeah,
around,
I
bring another one
mean,
around. I'm like, God, what's her name? Is that the same one? She kind of looks like the last one, but I don't know if that's her or not. What's her name?
oh man, yeah, it's definitely.
Like, hey, sweetie.
And let's dig a little deeper into this. As far as like gift buying, like
Mm,
um, I'm usually listen. I love Christmas. Christmas is my
I
second
know it.
favorite holiday to me.
Right,
And
Poppy.
what's that?
Right after your birthday. Christmas is your second. You said your second favorite.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's the only thing that sucks about it is that my birthday's literally like a couple of weeks before. So growing up, yeah, it was the struggle was real. But
Right.
um, I don't mind buying somebody that I'm seeing a little gift. I'm not gonna buy you like a damn, Jared's diamond or something, but
Right.
something thoughtful, or maybe just food. I love food, so hey, you know what? Food is one of my best methods to make people happy.
Right.
So I don't mind buying something reasonable, but I'm
Uh-huh.
not going to break the bank because I feel like that can also bring unwanted pressure, because then that other person starts to feel, well, damn, he bought me,
Mhm.
this Louis Vuitton bag. Now I got to get him something. You know what I mean?
Well, and let's talk about that though, for real. Like, you know, that's an intention, I think. I mean, I guess if you have loads of money and you're used to just, buying people things all the time, or buying people, buying your love, buying relationships, and that's a whole nother show. Um,
Uh huh.
but you know, what is a good, I think about the dirty santas, sort of those games at work where they put the price limit on like a $10 gift. Is that appropriate? We're talking about holidays. Is a $10 gift for a birthday or Christmas or Valentine's with somebody that you just connected with, not too, maybe you got together somewhere between Christmas and Valentine's. Do you buy that person a gift if they just, haven't been around that long, but maybe a couple months? What's
Here's
you do?
my thing would be this. I mean, if you're hanging around this person and you still have those romantic intentions, then you would think that a little something about what they like or what they're passionate about. So, let's say somebody's like a big music fan, right?
Mhm.
Let's say she loves R&B. Then even if it was like an old school R&B CD, that would be like a cool, interesting gift in the world of technology with MP3s and
Right. You can find,
YouTube. That
yeah.
a CD. Some people are like, "What the hell is that?" You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
Like, I don't know. I don't know what to do with this. Maybe vinyl pop.
yeah,
Those
yeah. But
record players
if somebody's
come
or
back.
somebody's a dancer, maybe get them. I
Yeah.
don't know, like something that could be useful for that, or
Well,
maybe
Dan,
I don't know, concert tickets, something like that.
awesome. Those are some great ideas, and I think maybe that's helpful to our listeners. We've got a really neat spa here in my hometown, and they have a salt cave. And so it was a great little pick me up for about 45 minutes. And you just kind of rest in there, this pink Himalayan salt all in the floor. The lights are dim. They've got the plug-in Himalayan lights. And you can just sit in there and just relax. And I just thought it was the neatest thing that I had experienced in a long time. And something off the beaten trail like that is sometimes a good gift, because until you really know a person and you know what they like, maybe it's something that could be an experience, or something that really could open their mind up to a new activity that maybe they wouldn't have bought for themselves. But
Or you could do something where um a gift card to a restaurant, or a gift card to Starbucks or Chick-fil-A, even something small like that. But you were thinking about them, and it's something that they're going to use, and it's something that most people would enjoy. I mean, you go to
right,
Starbucks, there's something for everybody there nowadays.
exactly,
You
exactly.
know
Some people say, a gift card isn't as thoughtful, or you didn't really take time. But, if it's somebody you don't really know that well, you really haven't gotten the acquaintance off the ground as much as you would like, or not as deep as you would like, then I definitely think that's always a safe choice.
Yeah, I get
They
it.
can
Like,
always
listen, it's not. I mean, if somebody gets me a gift card, regardless of whether say it was a gift card to Walmart, I mean, it's still useful,
Mhm,
and I'm still going to be appreciative that they thought about me
exactly.
to buy me that. So even at that point, I still think that the thought counts for something.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a moment to get our thoughts together with this short break. Come right back and join us. We're going to be talking about some more holidating. And we're
Or
back. So Jorge and I have been talking about whether or not you should bring someone around your family around the holidays. I thought about two, Poppy, family reunions. That's such a statement
oof.
activity as well. I don't know about yours, but mine certainly are.
Yeah, you
uh,
do that, ain't yeah, that's heavy. That's
right? They might
because he's good.
better have a
He or
ring
she
on.
is going to get grilled by everybody, and everybody's going to be like, "Who is that?" And
Yeah,
where'd you
right.
meet this fellow? Or where'd you meet this girl? So yeah, that one
Mm,
you got to have. You got to be close to girlfriend level, in my opinion, for that.
right, right. Well, let me ask you this: how soon? I know it's not maybe too soon to ask, but what about taking them on a trip? A short weekender, maybe to the mountains on a short cruise. What do you think about that? Because I think sometimes, those extended times that you get to be with someone really lets you know. And that doesn't mean you always have to be intimate physically, but I think you really get to know a person when you see what their habits are. Do they brush their teeth at night? I don't know. There's weird stuff that I think I probably think about or look at, just based on my own personal habits. But do you think there's some value in, having a getaway with someone, even if you have separate beds, separate rooms, whatever, in order to see how well you're gonna, gel along or get along together?
So my thing with this is that, I mean, I think, um, if you've been, kind of, seeing each other consistently, every few weeks,
Hmm.
then I think that's a good bridge to kind of see, okay, does this thing really have potential? Because a getaway or a day trip that can either make the situation better or it can break the situation.
Right.
Because you may go, to, I don't know, Asheville or the mountains together over a weekend, and you may see a side of this person that maybe you didn't know existed, or you may see certain aspects of this individual that maybe you don't feel are a good fit or a good mesh for you, or you may see a different side of this person where you're like, damn, this is so cool, or man, this person, we're really vibing, or man, I had a great time just hanging out with this person all
Hmm.
weekend. So
Right.
um I think, it definitely will tell you a lot, but it's not always going to be a fairy tale. So you got to be
Right.
mindful that, hey, this could backfire, but you would hope that at the very least it doesn't get to that point. I mean, at least you can still be civil or at least enjoy the trip, hopefully.
Well, Poppy, I will not give any names, of course, protect the innocent and the guilty on this show. But I can remember going on a date. It was a weekender, like just a retreat, a little mountain spa kind of thing. And this gentleman, just very articulate, um, interesting, life, a lot of different great qualities, well traveled. But OMG, I literally, and I'm not lying when I say this, everybody, I literally could smell his breath from my side of the car. And I
No
thought,
way.
I am going to damn die in this car. I was like, what in the world do you eat that has you? I was like, oh, and that, honest to goodness, I'm telling you, Poppy, I couldn't do it. And I know that sounds shallow, but y'all, there are some standards that you got to make to be able to be in good relationship with somebody. And for me, that was one of them. I was just like, oh my God, I can't breathe. I was like, how does that happen? I mean, and when I tell you, well, well dressed, well put together, check so many boxes, Poppy. But when I got a caught downwind, I just thought, no, I can't do it. I just couldn't see myself in any kind of longevity. And I wouldn't have known. We had done like dinner and that kind of thing, those kind of dates before, but the weekend trip it really did break us, because I was just like, I can't do this. How did I miss this? This is a very important detail. But you're right. It's like, it's not a fairy tale, but you got to know, like, what can you live with? Like, what are your deal breakers? And you need to be able to stand on that, because I think too often we compromise, and sometimes in little things. But when those little things start to add up over time, we get resentful, we get bitter, we get mean in our relationships, because we did not hold fast. We wanted somebody so bad that we just took anybody. And
Hmm.
and for me, I had to stand on that one, Poppy. I just I couldn't
You
do
had
it.
to
I
take a
couldn't
pass.
do
You're
it.
like, you know what? This is a
Oh,
sign from God or from somebody.
it was. It was. And I was like, I don't think I'm a shallow person. I really don't. I think I'm very
You sure he didn't
compassionate,
have like
very
some onion
loyal.
rings or something? Or
No, this was not. It was not. Like, those are kind of like passing, it's like, but, little gum helps, gum could not have done anything for this. This was like severe intestinal issue. I was just like, whew.
oh
Anyway,
man.
but those are the kinds of things that we're trying to talk to you about on the show. We keep it all the way 100. Probably didn't we say that? I was like,
But let's
maybe you
all right.
didn't
So
know.
let's get deeper into this. Um so here's the thing, and I feel like a lot of guys, right?
Hmm.
Just from, conversations that I've had, right?
Hmm.
Where if you're going out on a trip, like a weekend trip with a woman, and she wants to go, or she's inviting you, or she kind of initiated the idea,
Hmm.
then I feel like there's a certain sector where there's a belief that, okay, she's into me, and this is like a potential opportunity to get intimate with each other.
Hmm.
um and that's not always the case. like
Right.
like sometimes the woman just really wanted to travel and spend quality time with you.
Well, and I think that's a problem that has been set up. Like, there's a bit of a dishonest dynamic on both sides. I think, there have been men who have said all sorts of things to get whatever they wanted, but I also think women have said what they think men want to hear in order to get what they want as well. So I think, we're really doing each other a disservice, and not just, heterosexual partnerships, but probably all sorts of partnerships where people feel like they can't really be fully honest, or they won't get whatever it is they're seeking for, instead of just coming out and say, hey, I would love to be a travel companion. And, how about, we plan some trips together. I enjoy hanging out with you, but I don't necessarily want to, be in an intimate relationship right now. But I do want somebody who likes to go places and do things together. But I think some women probably feel like, well, they want to get the bill, um, you know, somebody to foot the bill, which is a bit manipulative. Let's face it. I don't necessarily like that line of reasoning for anybody. And nobody wants to feel used. But, if it's a generous man and he's, Daddy Warbucks or something, he wants to pay for everything and he's generous like that, I don't see why you couldn't agree to it. But on the other hand, gentlemen, did you make your intentions known before the trip? You know what I mean? Like, did you set the tone for, are we going to, I mean, I guess, who wants to put it out there like that? You know,
I
you
mean,
want
yeah,
to
it's
make it
definitely
romantic,
it's a
but
slippery slope because
yeah, that
you
becomes
know, maybe I
transactional.
mean, here's the
Yeah.
thing: in the moment, she might be like, "Nah, I'm not ready for that." But then once you vibing, and you know, you got a romantic scenery, and you got a little wine, you know what I mean, and you start getting
Right.
some romantic vibes. They're like, "Well, wait a minute."
Right.
With each sip, he's starting to look sexier. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my gosh, Bobby, no. But I
So that
think
would be
that,
something that to me I
yeah.
would and here's the thing, another thing, right, going back to what you were saying about a generous man, more often than not, and I'm sure there's generous people out there, but more often than not, when a man starts to drop serious coin on somebody,
Mm-hmm.
he's going to expect something in return, whatever that may be.
Mm-hmm. So you don't think that a man could just do that with no strings attached, other than for just your mutual enjoyment of whatever that occasion or whatever that trip is.
I think so. I think it's
Hmm.
possible. But I feel like there are some men who do have that mindset that, hey, I'm taking you to Malibu. So, you know, it's
Hmm.
almost like an unspoken thing like, hey, I paid for this whole trip. So we're staying in the same room together. So a lot of men kind of, you know, will want to think that, hey, it's
Hmm.
kind of like goes without saying, so to speak. You know what I mean? But then as a woman, you have to be mindful of that, that, hey, this man is trying to be very, very generous. Um, you know,
Right.
what's
For
the
what
saying
purpose?
goes, there's
Hmm.
no such thing as a free lunch.
Right. Exactly.
Like in the back
Free
of your
ain't
mind as a
free.
woman
Free,
or
honey.
as a person, you have to be like, okay, this person just invited me to Greece or invited me to, you know, Miami, and it's just going to be on the house because he's just friendly and generous. I mean, eventually something's got to give.
Right. Well, and do you not think though that there's some men who uh, maybe just want the company of a woman who meets their intellect? Is that not possible? Like they just want somebody who
Oh, if he's into
gazes
you and
with
he's
them.
told you
And,
he's into you, then, you know,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. But if he hasn't demonstrated that he's not seriously interested in you,
Hmm.
then that would be kind of like, okay, if you're not seriously interested in me, then what are you interested in? And
Gotcha.
why are you taking me all the way to Miami if you're not really into me?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, but if it made you feel like, hey, I'm into you, I'm interested in you, and you know, he's, you know, trying to introduce you to friends and family, you know, spending a lot of
Hmm.
quality time with you, then, you know, his actions should kind of, you know, do a lot of the talking.
Okay.
I'm a big believer. Believe people's actions. I'm not a big listen when it comes to words. One of my favorite quotes: "Don't believe what you hear, and believe half of what you see."
Right. Right. Right.
And
But what they
one
do.
thing that I've learned is
Mhm.
that people will say whatever they want you to hear if it fits their agenda and their gain.
All right. So I think this is worth kind of delving into a little bit here, Jorge. So if a man is demonstrating, and I think this has misled a lot of women though. So how do you interpret a man who has put quality time in, has introduced you to the friends and family? He's, maybe taking you on some trips or whatever.
Bringing you to holiday, you know,
Yeah,
get-togethers,
functions
and
or
you know,
whatnot. But then, you know, there are women who have been courted for years by men, but then he dumps them and marries somebody else within months. What does that mean?
oof,
That
that
might be another show. That might be another show, but
that might
there
be
are people who
another
have had
show,
that
but
happen.
that sounds like man,
Like
that's
you were
kind of like
older.
this, just, you know, this how this whole dating dynamic works nowadays, where there's so many people juggling so many people, you know, so there's always, you know, a bunch of chefs in the kitchen,
Mm, mm.
there's
Got
always people entertaining, several people, not just you. And that's
right.
just kind of how dating has evolved to nowadays, where, people are potentially considering 3 or 4 people, and it's normal almost.
Well, if you look back at history of marriage mart back in the late 1800s, England and other places, you had multiple suitors, and you saw who was going to come up with the best offer, as the season wore on. Bridgerton kind of gives us a glance at that lifetime. So I guess maybe we're getting back to we're
You
getting back
know
to
what? We've
modern
come
day
full
Brit.
circle then, if that's the case.
I know, right? Like,
But listen, this has been an awesome year. I'm, very proud of the work, the commitment, and the content that we've put out for everyone, and all the support that we've gotten from various sectors.
absolutely.
Um, I want to give a couple of special thanks to my friends, my family. Shout out to Xavier, my boy Xavier, and his wife,
Hmm.
who are always listening in to our content. Shout out to all my friends and all my people from Facebook that stay on top of whatever new show and stuff about the show that we post. And thank you for your support. It definitely does not go unnoticed. And let's be real, it definitely gives us a lot of motivation to work hard, research, and try to bring more good, positive content into the airwaves. And we have, bigger aspirations for next year. So stay tuned.
Absolutely. And a special thanks to my cousin Natasha, Ash Suber, producer, and who helps
Absolutely.
our content, and just working on getting better as talent, as well as tech crew, since we do all of that for ourselves on this particular platform. Also, thanks to my mom and my family, my daughters, all of my Facebook friends and family, Snapchat, Instagram, all of those who follow not only Jorge and I, but also Crazy Believe with Nelsa, uh, who have gotten onto the relationship cycle through those avenues. Your support has been phenomenal for our show. And uh, I'm telling you, the number of plays that we've gotten this year has been really off the charts for 5 shows. Really, they haven't even heard this one yet, but this will be our 6th show. And just like you said, Jorge, next year I can see bigger and better. And special thanks to our guests who have been on. Um, our guests, Danielle, Asha, those ladies for opening up and really sharing with us. And for those who are going to be on, and if you're interested in being on the show and sharing your expertise in some area of relationships, please connect with us on Jorge and Nelsa at gmail.com. That's Jorge, AND, Nelsa at gmail.com, for your show ideas, or if you're interested in being a guest expert or a guest, to tell your story on the show in the coming year. So we're looking forward to what the next part of the season has to bring.
And also, special thanks to Brooke, my buddy's wife, who's also supports the show. My friend Robin and my friend Jams, who's also been supportive in this project. And I appreciate everybody's feedback and support and positive vibes. And stay tuned, because 2022 is coming, and we're gonna definitely work even harder.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Jorge, for going on the ride with me. This has been awesome. And to everyone, we hope to have you tune back in on our next show and enjoy all your holidays.
Yeah, holidays and holidates.
Bye
And with that, thank you, everyone, and enjoy your time with your families. And we will see you next year.
bye.